So Binance is back in the news. I honestly don't think they're going anywhere outside of headlines just until they actually end up collapsing. That just seems to be the trajectory that we're on. Binance, obviously massive, still the number one exchange in the world. So if they do collapse, they're going to be able to hang on for quite a while, which they have been for like a year, over a year now. But maybe their time is coming to an end or starting to dwindle out. You can see different things from the SEC saying like the SEC says Binance US is not cooperating with their investigation into their company after they said that they asked a court to order an inspection into Binance US. So obviously, the Binance US apparently is not cooperating, which makes a lot of sense. Everybody knows that all these US platforms like Binance US, FTX US, these were all just shells of literally the parent companies, the Binance Global, FTX Global. They were running the show. These were just kind of put on there as a way to be in the US or separate, when in reality, they were all doing the same thing, right? There's nothing too secret going on there. And because of that, some big things are happening to Binance. You can see this. They have a lot of registrations in the past 3 months. So Binance itself, the chief strategy officer resigned, VP of compliance resigned, head of product, general counsel, and head of APAC all resigned. And also in Binance US, the CEO resigned, the head of legal, and the chief risk officer. So obviously, when a lot of people are leaving a certain situation, that's not the greatest thing to see, especially when you have complaints from the SEC coming, you have different courts looking into you, DOJ. When you have a lot of these things kind of going after you, and as a business, basically all of your top execs and top dogs are stepping down and leaving, that's not a really good sign. It's not going to instill confidence in anyone who is looking at this, which obviously leads to some articles coming out like this saying Binance US CEO departs and the crypto exchange could be in big trouble, uh, which I don't think should be too much of a surprise, right? Obviously, the US is kind of looking into Binance stuff, the DOJ, the SEC, different courts. And if the CEO steps down, what does that mean, right? Is everything being alleged more or less true? Is he stepping down to go work with the law enforcement in maybe turning over CZ and saying, this is what actually happens in Binance US? This is how it operated. This is what happened when CZ would order us to do this and that. Or, maybe he's actually doing that, which would be crazy, right? And I mean, I don't think is too out of the realm, because I think there are people who are talking about that actually being a possibility, that people from within Binance are kind of ratting out Binance in general and CZ just because obviously they see the writing on the wall. They see maybe there's trouble coming, and to save themselves, they got to give up the information that they know to try and sway something and save themselves and make sure that they don't go into a situation they don't want to. And the problems only continue to get worse for Binance, with different people coming out and basically saying like, something is happening. So we have this tweet here. We got a couple of people who are saying this, saying haven't had an issue with Binance in the 3 years I've used their platform. Hold most of my short-term bags in there for ease of access, safer than and easy to access on mobile. Logged in today to move some funds around, and they're not letting me withdraw. Not good. So that's the first kind of issues, right? When you can't withdraw your money, obviously that makes a lot of people pretty unhappy. When you don't have access to your money, you're not going to be very happy, especially when you should, right? For there's nothing going on, you should be able to get your money. Binance just kind of, I guess the customer support reached out and stuff, and this person says, just answer the support request through the site, question mark, which sure is fair, but I feel like, nowadays, like even YouTube doesn't have anything on YouTube to actually help creators when they reach out and have problem stuff. You got to go cry on Twitter until Team YouTube reaches out. So, I mean, maybe this is just the way they're trying to handle it. I don't know. But ultimately, you got this story, you got this one too, saying, hearing things with this text message or WhatsApp thing. I don't know what a messaging app this is, but someone saying, anyone have a contact at Binance regarding withdrawals issues, large sums for a corporate client. They're currently delaying many large withdrawals. We have experienced delays since Wednesday, and so have several of the hedge funds we are in an LP with. I am not sure what is going on. So this is like a normal person kind of saying having withdrawal problems. This is more corporate business types of people coming saying, this is a lot of money that we're dealing with here and it's being held up and we can't withdraw. So everyone's having problems. And obviously, withdrawing money, when that becomes the problem, then things have gotten really bad. When FTX had to halt withdrawals, things got really bad. When Voyager had to halt withdrawals, things got really bad. BlockFi had to halt withdrawals, things got really bad. So obviously, if there's a problem with withdrawals and they're halting them, then that means that there's real big problems going on behind the scenes. And, even Binance, even at the largest exchanges in the world, if they're not running the exchange one to one and they have a bank run or they have panic, they're going to set themselves up for a massive, massive failure. And apparently, even there's talks about settlement stuff, right? Saying, CZ refused to sign the global settlement in the spring with DOJ, CFTC, and the SEC because it would have made it harder to conduct criminal activities. His executive team did not want to face jail time, so they fled in mass. Now it looks like the settlement is back on the table. So maybe some sort of settlement to go on there. I'm sure that if there is a settlement, if like DOJ, CFTC, SEC are going after Binance and they have this type of settlement, that they probably think there's a way for them to limit the criminal activity on the platform, right? I don't know. Maybe that's what's going on. Don't know exactly why or what this settlement thing really is. Binance seems to be the massive talking point with like Gary Gensler and the SEC because every time they talk about like spot Bitcoin ETFs, there's always like something about Binance in there or market manipulation or stuff like this, which people are finally fighting back against. But, Binance, I think, is this one thing that everyone who is looking at crypto, even if it's just Bitcoin, they kind of see Binance say, well, this company is a little weird, right? This is a little bit of a crazy thing to see. They don't seem to be all that transparent and great, and that kind of turns people away. And apparently, that's what's happening with like the SEC stuff. But I mean, at some point, Binance goes away, right? If they're running a fraudulent business, which all signs kind of point to, then they're eventually going to go away. They're eventually going to collapse. Sure, it'll probably bring pain, and the price of Bitcoin will go down for the short term. But long term, it'll be better for everyone. And obviously, if you look at Binance US trading volume, it's fallen off of a cliff. Now, is this actually, a problem? Trading volume overall was obviously very inflated for 2020, 2021, even 2022. And falling off would make sense. I mean, falling from, 4 billion to like zero is crazy, right? The SEC suits at like a kind of a peak here, moving everything down. But like, is this a big deal? Because Binance US is pretty much dead. Be more interested to see what's going on in Binance, how their volume's doing, than Binance US. But again, also the overall trend, volumes just overall are down. So would it be this extreme? Probably not, right? Binance US is kind of a special case, but it's definitely going to be down from the peaks from before. But we might be seeing the endings of Binance happening, right? I think people have been saying this for a long time. I do think Binance is big enough where they can hang on for a long time, like they have been doing. But eventually, the governments are starting to come after them, starting to kick them out of places for operating. US DOJ stuff, they're starting to kind of make their way in. So once these really kind of big governmental kind of institutions are coming after you, there's probably only a matter of time before they actually get what they want, which is to apparently take Binance down. And Binance might be counting its last days. I feel like everyone's been saying that for a long time. So we'll see how it plays out, if it even does. And it'll probably still take a long time regardless. That's going to do it for this video. As always, don't just smash the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.